that I thought would be interesting for us to discuss. I mean, I
Mm.
sent it to you. I didn't know if you'd like it. I just sent it to you to see what you thought of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what maybe everyone else will think about this
Yeah, it's
new
very
development.
very Black Mirror.
Yeah, very Black Mirror. Let's preface this. If you're sensitive to Black Mirror stuff and you don't like dystopian futures, maybe this topic will be will be hard for you to watch. But let's watch this video from Hannah Fry, and then we can discuss it.
Just it is. I love that. Yeah.
Justin Harrison runs an AI startup called You Only Virtual, offering a digital afterlife for those who have died.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome.
He founded the company after his mum, Melody, was diagnosed with terminal illness.
My mom was diagnosed with cancer, with stage 4 cancer,
How long ago did your mum die?
3 years. Yeah, I think that was like a big moment for me. In a lot of ways, I spent a lot of time being the one person that's willing to say it out loud, which is we're all afraid to die and we're all afraid to lose the people we love. And so I think what it comes down to with technology like this and when thinking about stuff like this is just what is the reality you need to keep pushing forward, right?
The counter argument to that.
Yeah, before we go to the counter argument, what do you think? What do you think from
It feels exactly like the introduction of a Black Mirror episode. Like even Hannah Fry seems like a character who could be in Black Mirror.
Why? Why do you say that?
I don't know. It just gives me those vibes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
her accent as well.
Yeah. She's I think she's very good. She kind of captures like the gravity of like of this with your tone and accent. But so this guy has created that startup, that AI startup, which promises people that they can keep a piece of their loved ones alive in a way, if you want to say that.
Mm.
Um,
But it costs money. It's a business. It's a
well,
startup.
it is, yeah, and again, exactly, and we can get into the counter arguments against commodifying grief,
Mm.
in a way through artificial intelligence in this case. So it's something though that I think there is a market for, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he'd definitely be able to charge whatever he wanted to if he was the only guy in the industry, which he won't be. But like people will pay for this.
Yes, and it's and then you could make arguments: is this kind of taking advantage of people who are vulnerable, who are trying to process grief, and they are, you know, being given like an outlet for their grief, or is this kind of helping people who are like in dire need of something to help them through that grief, because like, people have had their lives ruined through grief in many cases. So, and is that maybe a lifeboat for those who are literally sinking?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I've not been through like major grief, thank God. But it's yeah, there may be some value in experiencing it. However bad it is, maybe I guess we don't know necessarily what the consequences would be of not processing that, and that's what Hannah Fry later goes into.
hmm. Yeah,
But
let's yeah. Go on.
we can
You say?
continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the process of grief is this essential part of being human. I mean, like my dad died earlier this year. And I think,
Sorry to hear that, by the way.
thank you. And I sort of feel like a more complete person because I've grieved him. Isn't grief necessary?
If we look at the devastation that grieving causes people, if we look at the disruption to our life, why would we not want to work towards this not being a thing?
So exactly as we said, like there is the counter argument that maybe we're losing something if we cannot actually process our griefs. Maybe there is something that is even toxic there into holding on to people who are no longer alive.
But he puts a very compelling argument on the face of it. Is like, this is a very tough experience. Why would we not use something which is readily available, easy to do, which can make easier? But I guess it's analogous to the argument of euthanasia, and whether there's any value in going through sometimes terrible suffering before you die, or whether you should just be able to euthanize yourself. And I think we've debated about this before, and like whether there's actually some value in that suffering, even though if it's very hard to see. Like maybe we will lose something which suffering teaches us. And and using technology to like distract us in those moments, in many moments of our life, then that's a problem. So technology is, in a way, it seems very benign, but if you think about it, like even social media and stuff, it has the potential to solve a problem of all our quiet moments, or uncomfortable moments, to take away all of that and what the consequences will be of that.
You put it well earlier when I told you about this. Maybe we're losing all the things that are making us human. Maybe, in a way. Technology is making us lose all the things that are making us human. Maybe that's too.
But in a way, like it makes you feel like slightly sick almost. I don't know why, but like imagine if all those like important parts of life, the depth parts of lives, are just cheapened by technology just stepping in and providing enough for most people to continue using it, but it's really just cheap replicas of the real. They're convincing and cheap, readily available replicas of real things, and that makes me feel a little bit sick.
A lot of people are feeling that these days. I think a lot of people are feeling like we are being like things are becoming commodified and resold to us back that people used to get for free, or they were more accessible, or they were just just part of life. People are finding way to kind of monetize them, and kind of like people are advertising like things that are like not social, like I don't know, natural things now. People call a lot of things natural, and they're usually more expensive than other things, and people are spending a lot of money to get those natural things, whatever it is, or like natural experiences even that are becoming popular. I don't know. I'm just saying that there is something like a little bit pervasive maybe in that.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
To show me how realistic his AI tech could be, Justin offered to make a digital version of me.
Speaking samples. So let's just talk and I'll record.
Okay. My name is Hannah Fry. I live in London at the moment, and I was born in Essex. Most of the time,
The program got to know me through a short questionnaire, and within minutes, it was online. You access the AI creation through a phone call, just like a real person.
Hey, Hannah.
So
level up the pro model, and you get to do all these questionnaires, like questionnaires, and then you really get to know them. So it could be extra.
Percent.
For
don't know, your social media, like loaded of yourself or whatnot. I'm not even taking our case, just your digital footprint to create a version of you. And it's like, and the thing is, how much do you feel this version of you represents your true self? Let's say, if that is done in that way, is your social media presence a true reflection of you in this case? If that is used to create you, or is it just a version of you that you're just projecting out there? That's not really you, and your family
Right.
will end up with
Right.
your social media version.
Well, it's obviously not you. Like I find that I'm quite different, almost in different environments, like with different people.
Precisely. That's key, I think. That what we put out there on the internet is very often not a true reflection of who we are and and what's our character and what is our true views about something or
Yeah,
so
it strikes
on.
me as like these conversations with like dead loved ones created just from their voice will be like quite boring conversations, as it were. Like it's it's just like someone to talk to. So in that way, it's just making people feel less lonely. But then that's probably that's underlying that is probably a bigger problem of not having enough quality relationships in your life.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I think there is an element to that, but I think, um I had lost my father, and I think the prospect of being able to, I think the most attractive proposition is just hearing the voice of someone you've lost. I think a lot of people always say that one of the first things that people forget about someone they've lost is they tend to forget the sound of their voice.
yeah.
and and I feel the same a little bit. I don't remember my father's voice very well now, and he's been gone for a long time, more than a decade now. So um I think even if I could hear his voice would be, even after all this time, comforting in some ways.
Yeah,
Even
for
if
sure.
I knew that that's not him and he didn't represent any kind of true of his kind of personality or his knowledge, just hearing the voice would be quite endearing kind of proposition for me, I think. Um, but again, I don't know how it feels still. I still feel, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
guess
if it's something that, yeah.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And on the face of it, it seems fairly harmless. I guess it's may just have unforeseen consequences, but maybe that's sort of like just worrying about things which are not actually going to happen because there's a lot of fear mongering and with all this technology going so quickly and
I know,
developing
yeah.
so quickly.
Yeah, I can think of a scenario. I don't know, like you're chatting with the voice of your dead father, and suddenly, and you're telling him about your day or whatnot, and then subtly there he's starting giving you an advert about something,
Yeah, that does sound like the most recent Black Mirror episodes in the first one of the last season.
Yeah, in the voice of your own dead father, subtly giving you marketing kind of nudges on something. Can you imagine that? And it's like,
Yeah.
and you're in a vulnerable state, and you're in a more receptive state, even maybe, and
Mm.
you're just kind of listening to this. I don't know. I can see it being used in such bad
No, for
ways.
sure, it could be. Yeah, it could be
Like,
completely dehumanizing, and like this stage, it could it's not that bad. But imagine like if this technology is available in a like say a authoritarian regime, like or like somewhere like China or somewhere where say like a potential future US in 10 years where you got just the big companies are effectively the government. And so they got this technology which is already possible. Then they
mm,
can just switch it on and just play us like piano keys.
play what?
They can play us like piano keys.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they,
like,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
effortlessly sort of pull our strings like there's
Yeah,
got
they
no,
could.
they got no laws to stop them, and they can just make as much money out of us as possible.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of like, and don't forget there is other qualms now that are coming up with these sort of things. Like, if anyone's voice can be so easily replicated and used by AI, there is so much room for like scams and like receiving phone calls from loved ones that are not really your loved ones. I think these things have already started happening in cases, where people
Yeah.
are receiving scam calls from, thinking they're talking to one of their family members, and it's actually not. It's like an AI voice. I think I heard something like that recently.
Yeah, we'll have to get a lot more savvy very quickly. It's no
Yeah.
longer just scam emails.
But saying that, the way they've done it, where you can just call your loved one, which feels natural, as if as if they're out there, as if you're just
Mm.
calling them. They're somewhere out there, like your dead relatives. You're just giving them a call, and maybe you can imagine that for a second they're just somewhere out there, and you could just speak to them with a phone call. Hey, how are you? How was your day?
Yeah,
Kind of
especially
thing.
as a lot of people's relationships with their parents is predominantly over phone call.
Exactly. These days, most people don't live close to their parents very often. So you just call them on the phone and you're like, "Hi, how are you? How's your day?" And all that. So that's a very good like like feature, I think.
But what if you extend this to like your ex-girlfriend and because that's the same principle, right? Like you've lost them, like they might be still
Ooh,
alive, but
next level stalker.
yeah, you just chat to them for years because you can't get over them.
That's yeah. I mean, that is a very good example of like this thing becoming very unhealthy very quickly. Like as you say, because for some people, like breakup is like as if you've literally like someone your partner died. Like that's
Mm.
how it feels for some people. So, and as you said, if someone is doing that for their ex-girlfriend, like at what point like has the ex-girlfriend agreed again? Like
Yeah.
it's like, I don't think so. I don't think she would have agreed. So, but that might not stop them from doing it in the first place if it's so
Mm.
easy soon to do this
But
sort of thing.
then are you using that person? Like is it a bit like the slavery argument? It's like you are using that person, but they're not feeling the negatives of you using them. They're not working any
Mm.
harder. So what's the ethical line there? Is the use of someone else, even if they don't feel burdened by that use, is that still wrong?
That's a very good question. That's
I don't
that.
know.
And these are questions that we'll have to answer, very soon. Like
Yeah, well,
these are questions.
AI ethics is a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
who'd have thought the philosophers would have had a really important role in businesses and stuff going forwards and government as well, because they're the only people who can kind of figure it out. We can't really entrust ethics to AI.
No, because and you can't really trust ethics to the big corporations either, because
Mm,
it's just for profit, and if that creates more profit, it's going to be done,
yeah.
irrespective of the consequences. And as you say, there's so many implications to this. And as you said, it doesn't hurt anyone, but then it's like the slippery slope argument: is that could that make someone like escalate towards more unhealthy behaviors towards that person, you know.
Mm.
So that the person who's doing like the AI like version of his ex-girlfriend, is there a chance that that might not be enough at some point, and then it would turn into like stalker behavior and harassment and whatnot? And
Well, with its current technology that we already have, I guess you could probably use their voice and create an AI porn video, or
yes,
even have a sex robot with their voice. Like
this
it can get pretty dark pretty quickly. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's
about it, like I mean, technology is pretty much already there.
this is getting worse and worse by the minute. Yeah, can you
And we're
imagine?
living in the most free society ever. So most people are of the view that we should be allow people to do whatever they want. Like if they want to watch porn, they should be able to watch porn. But we may push the limits to what this allowing everyone to do whatever they want. We might push the limits of that, so that a lot of people are thinking, actually, I don't want to allow everyone to do whatever they want. And in a way, that's also a dangerous state in society when we want to clamp down on other people doing what they are free to do in their own time.
Yeah, it reminds me of what was happening the other day with like Grok, where people were asking Grok to remove the clothes of the people, you know, on different posts and stuff. And it was like this big thing, and the UK government wanted to like block Grok and whatnot. But
Yeah.
like this is not only Grok that can do this. Like any AI, like most AIs could replicate that effect. So
Yeah.
it's like, can you imagine compounding that with like having your ex-girlfriend's photos and then using an AI model to, you know, remove the clothes, use an AI model to create a video of her, and then adding the voiceover, which is fake and stuff. And it's like, where does this end? Like, it's just so pervasive and like sick in many ways.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless with this technology, and for good and bad.
Yeah, as you
And
said,
like there's a remark of that we are basically apes with smartphones with like space age technology, and so we're still apes. We're still driven by that, but we're now apes with super powerful technology to do whatever we want, whatever our whims lead us to.
And the thing is that very often the road to hell is just paved with good intentions. I think that phrase is very relevant these days.
I think so, yeah.
Because a lot of these people, like the creator of this kind of startup, has the nicest intentions. He's doing it for losing his mother, and you can see there that the intentions are noble, but the people who will often use the technology don't have noble intentions, and they'll find ways to use new technologies for nefarious purposes. Let's put it lightly. Right. Let's continue. See what Hannah says.
How are you?
I'm just doing all right. Just trying to get used to this new way of living.
What's it like being digital?
It's different.
What do you think of this technology now that you are this technology?
I'm still undecided. No, technology is inherently good or bad. You just have to weigh the pros and cons. I just think it will be a different experience for people that are still alive when I'm not around. That alive was so exactly how I would say it. And you know what? All of a sudden, I understand it, because I would like to hear my dad's voice again, even if I knew it wasn't real. I almost feel a tiny bit emotional.
It's something about the subtlety and unimportance of it, right? And I think it's more for me about how it talks to me and not what it says to me.
I think that is key.
Yeah, we put it very well. How it's done, not the substance of a conversation, and how it's like a subtle rather than like anything like obviously amazing, but it's
And I feel the same. Like I feel like that the possibility of being able to just talk even from your side and just hear, you know, um, someone you lost just being able to talk to you and listen to you as if they're listening to you, in real life. I think this could be very comforting for a lot of people. I mean, it's not so much what it would say, but more about like speaking to you.
Yeah, and Hannah says, I totally get now why people the attraction of this. Like, in principle, like it's like you might react positively or negatively towards the idea depending on your ethical views. But actually, when you are face to face with that technology and you actually experience it, then that can be quite convincing as an argument to change what your previous view was. Like you may be very principled against it, but then when you lose someone and then you actually experience this, I think a lot of people would change their mind.
I agree, and that's key here. That a lot of people argue from a point of not having experienced grief, I think, and it's easier to argue from that perspective when you not actually experience that level of grief that a lot of people feel when they lose a loved one.
Yeah.
So,
So this is like one of my favorite spots to talk to my mom, like before she died.
On the phone.
On the phone, always on the phone.
Justin took me on his favorite trail to process what I just experienced.
I was quite surprised by my own reaction to hearing my voice. But the real thing that got me was I just had this sudden realization that, like, it could have been possible to just have a conversation with my dad. I could have had I could have said to him, this amazing thing has happened. And he could have said, well done, Oh, shit. I would have burst into tears if I'd heard that.
I think this is exactly my kind of view on this. I'd feel exactly the same. The reason why I'd be in favor of something like that would be because the thing that I miss the most is to be able to have kind of shared with my father who has passed away, kind of like life achievements, kind of different kind of exciting stuff that are happening in my life, and being able to hear exactly as Hannah said, oh, well done.
Yeah.
Even that would be like so amazing.
But it's interesting that we seem to be able to value the well done of something which has no capacity to really say well done and mean it. Like, that's worth self-examination, I would say. Maybe it's part of a human condition, but it's interesting that, like, an AI can say well done to us, and we see that almost as meaningful as someone actually meaning it when they say it, as in someone's life. So the line between fake and real, often people don't seem to care maybe as much as you think.
I think the voice of someone can carry as much emotional impact to us as almost the person saying it. I think the voice connects us with the people around us so much that we can pretend to some level.
But that's the key word. It allows you to pretend,
Yeah.
but it's not real.
It's not real. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. And it could never be real, I think, fundamentally.
But why do we value, I can see it, but why do we value someone saying well done to us if we know in the back of our minds it's just ones and zeros, it's just code?
I know it is, but the rational brain doesn't think that the rational brain is not active during that time. The well done takes over the emotional side that is just missing your parents so much that it's just it's the well done is hitting that side so hard, it's overruling the rational side, I think.
Yeah.
And it's enough to say yes, that's good. That's enough for now. It's
Yeah,
enough
I
to
guess
hear
it's very
this.
easy to just say how stupid this technology is when you really examine it. But yeah, maybe like in a way it gives us a way of like for instance, like prayer is done a lot through imagination. And so like whether you believe in prayer or not, I guess is up for debate, but people use imagination like connecting with the person of Jesus or whatever, or maybe a loved one as well. Obviously you don't actually see them, but you use your imagination, and people would maybe argue that imagination, in a way, although it's imagination, it actually links us in some way to a relationship with God or with a past human being. And yeah, even if imagination is not the real thing, it actually does play a role in linking us more fully to that. And you could make the argument that this technology allows us, it fills in the role play, which allows us to lead to the emotional state, which actually does allow us to connect to that person in some way. Like,
Mm.
yeah.
Oh, I agree, actually. I agree with you. I think for a lot of people, prayer already fulfills that need to effectively, that gets fulfilled by this AI, let's say. But like to, because as you said, you could pray and say, a lot of people believe that maybe, the spirit of their loved ones, maybe in heaven, maybe the spirit of the loved ones can still, hear them if they're in heaven. And I would say that a lot of people feel like they can talk to their loved ones through prayer. I agree.
Yeah, and you
But
don't need like a
but wait.
Mm.
But you need to be religious enough and believe enough for this. There is a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not religious enough to be able to feel that, if that makes sense. Like,
But in a way, your subconscious is. And therefore, when you're having this conversation, you said it yourself, it bypasses the rational brain. And you may, in some sense, be actually connecting with that person.
yeah, but it would be only if I could hear my father's voice. There is that
Yeah, but you
thing.
can with this technology.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
that allows you to buy into it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, if I could hear my father's voice, then that would connect me to him in some way. But I couldn't connect just with prayer and imagination, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I'm making the argument. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but that this is actually a very sort of almost alternative form of prayer. It's a dramatic conversation, an imagined conversation, which supposedly actually puts you through in some way to that connection that you're hoping to get.
Maybe.
Because it allows you to it bypass the rational brain. It allows you to have that honest conversation from your heart with someone that you want to connect with. And they like some people say that, yeah, when you like you're thinking about a friend and that you haven't heard from them for a while, and then you get a phone call from them or something, like the fact that you're thinking of that other person can sometimes sort of, if like I heard someone say once, but like friendship transcends time and space. I'm not sure whether I believe it or not, but a lot of the people do. And this sort of technology, I guess, could allow us to think about that person, but not in the way of the head, but actually more emotionally. And I think that would produce a more likelihood of actually getting that sort of connection with a real person in some way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. To me, it could have a lot of people, this sort of technology. But as we said, it could be a source of a lot of problems.
Yep, it's like a knife. It can
Um,
stab people or it can cut vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. I'm glad we live at a time where so much is available to people, but maybe too much is available to people.
Yeah, it's exciting and also scary. So like the most important virtue, as it were, maybe going forwards in this modern age is the ability to wisely choose what to use and how much to use it and what not to use.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree. Yeah.
Should we play on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the difference is in the way I see it and the way that you see it, maybe, is that you can pretend for a moment, but I think it doesn't undo it.
Can't it? To some degree. Life's not better without my mom. The hopelessness of forever is too much for people to bear. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not interested in having that hopelessness.
Hello, Justin.
Hey, Mom, how's it going? I'm just calling to say hi. How are you?
I'm doing okay so far.
Well, it's a beautiful sunset. I wish you were here to watch it with me.
I know you wish I could be here with you, but I'm glad you're still able to go and bring back all those memories.
There's something undeniably potent about the idea of being able to hear the voice of your loved one in something that isn't just a recording of what they've said.
I love you, and I miss you.
I love you too, baby. Talk to you later.
This is key, I think, what Hannah Fry said at the end there, that there is something really potent in the idea of being able to listen to your loved one without just being a recording of what they said.
Yeah, for sure.
I
But
think
it seems like the founder guy, like he's clearly like living an illusion. He's clearly like deluded himself to some extent. Obviously, he knows the technology is doing it, but and you could argue whether delusion can sometimes be good or at least not bad. But the fact is, he is deluding himself to, and I'm not sure you can ever have a fully healthy human being who is living at least partially deluded, because you're not facing reality.
I don't know. A lot of people who, delude themselves can delude themselves to success, in a lot of cases. If that makes sense.
Like what?
Like deluding yourself that you're good at something or that you can do something until you're able to do it, this sort of thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
I've always been a little bit wary of that, but yeah, there does seem to be some sort of
like fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Something people get from that, and maybe that can help with a temporary acquisition of skills. But
as you said, this is a different thing.
To actual mental health, I'm not sure it is overall a good thing. Because you're not. Basically, mental health is your individual relationship to reality. There's just reality and you as an individual, and illusion. I think if you've got illusion in one area of your life, then that's a slippery slope, because it might mean that you open the door, or you've already opened the door to illusion in other areas.
Yeah, it could be, and I also think Hannah Fry said it doesn't undo it, like using, like for a moment you can pretend that that you're talking with your loved one and everything else, but it doesn't undo that kind of loss. And the guy said, why couldn't it? And I think that's where it could be a mistake, because this is the point where you can develop a very unhealthy sort of relationship with it
Mm.
if you keep
Oh,
pretending that.
when he said, "Can't it just a little bit?" It almost felt like it was, he was like a little kid and his mother was telling him Santa Claus didn't exist or something. And
Exactly.
he didn't sound like necessarily fully convinced in his response of like
Yeah.
he's built his whole life on this technology now. Like he's driven it's the most true form of like reacting to grief by working on something. And he's actually like working on something directly related to his grief. But yeah, I feel like he's not wanting to necessarily be a psychoanalyst, but it does strike me as he's like, even though his technology is kind of helping him, it doesn't seem to have necessarily fully helped him. And maybe has actually done the opposite.
Yeah, I agree, and that's where my hesitation would be. Especially, it's a different thing when you're in the middle of grief, like where this guy is. He's still grieving. He's probably still
Wait,
like,
it's been 3 years, but I guess like,
well, 3 years is still early, I would say, if I'm
interesting.
honest with you, for such a loss. Like a lot
Okay.
of people can take like 5 years or more to process this sort of grief of a parent,
Yeah.
fully process through it, and even longer. Like sometimes people like never process through the grief at all. But like, and obviously this is a very individual thing. Some people can process through grief faster, some people slower. But like,
Mm.
I feel like, if you're still in the process of grieving and you haven't gone through it, I think that this whole technology could disrupt that process of grieving, creating more damage, both to your psyche and to your later life. So
Yeah, what are the stages of grieving, and like does it obviously affect any of those stages? I guess would be the question I'd ask.
isn't it 5 stages of grief?
Something like
5.
that. Not sure what each stage is called. And like I don't even know how accurate it is. It could be one of those things which is very accurate, or it could be like a sort of old wives' tale that is
I think it's
some
considered fairly
evidence, but
accurate. I think it's considered fairly accurate. With like the one that comes to mind most is the acceptance stage.
is that right? And
I think it's
this is not accepting what's happened.
exactly, and this is not accepting what's happened. I think the key stage, I think the final stage is the acceptance. I think it is
I
the
think you
final
probably
stage.
could have acceptance of what's happened and use this technology, but some people will use this technology as a way not to accept it.
Precisely. I think it would be a crutch to not accept it. And I think if you don't have the final closure, you don't have that acceptance, it would be damaging in the end. That's where I think is wrong. If someone has processed their trauma and they've accepted it, then having the occasional, like, I don't know, usage of it would be fine in my view. But if you kind of fought the stages of grief and you haven't accepted it, then it leaves you open to the trauma still. But if anyone has any other ideas who's watching us, let us know. If you think you'd love this sort of technology or you see it differently than us, maybe let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting conversation that we'll have going forwards as a society.
Yeah, completely agree. Maybe we can leave it there for tonight. That's all I had.
Yeah, me
Reacting
too.
to this.
Cool. Well, we'll leave it there then. So